Keep teams committing to these hot drops further. Like, hypothetically, realistically, we played 3 Miramars in a row. Petrichor Road, or they did well. Pentagram, not so much. You might have a bad game 1 and then choose to leave. If you have a bad game 1, go to a different map, have an entirely different experience. You could be confidence, revitalized to continue it once again once we head back to the other map.
Oh, that's a fantastic point. And I think, you know, speaking of Pentagram, by the way, they are involved once again, and I actually did have a chance to talk with Adder, and he said, yep, we're doing this. I said, are you going to the farm? He said, yep, we're going to the farm with Na'Vi. And I'm like, all right, man. I hope you I hope you brought your tractors and everything you need for this one, because this is going to be one tough fight. A Western Circle to start, but shotguns abound there for the side of Pentagram. I see a DBS, a VSS in the other hands, and an instant headshot. Shotgun onto Lou for Twisted Minds. This is the Razak fight you were talking about, and it is going to be first blood here going to Pero.
Yeah, Petrichor Road, 4th place. In terms of points last game, continuing up with more damage again. Nikad with the barrel, no attachments, no sight, so it's a bit wild of a bucking bonker to hold in that Adder. He had the lineup, he had the shotgun, but can't quite get the shot off.
Oh, and then Uva found a headshot with the SLR, and Wicked grenade in hand in that moment gets taken out. And Pentagram here able to avoid disaster early on in that previous game, even get decently deep into it, get some decent points. But now was another knock on a Purple Mood. I would suspect then that New Happy might try to make the push. Just one, I don't think is enough for them to feel comfortable to make that commitment. And now Gen G drives back the other way, right underneath Na'Vi. They have all of Na'Vi barreling down on this. Foxy, Shirley down. DG on the other side, PO as well. It is just Taming left, and Gen G here. They left Na'Vi alone on the beach, and now they pay the price.
Where did Gen G think Na'Vi went? That's my big question. Why would you come back that direction? You know Na'Vi are going to be on foot. You should know the timing of where Na'Vi could even have gotten to. That's the only position that Na'Vi could reasonably be. But let's look back onto New Happy and Purple Mood. Thunders has already been taken down. Fluky also down. It's all onto Boarboats.
Yeah, Boarboats here trying to do something. He has 3 members of New Happy there, and ZP on doesn't even need to scope in. The hip fire good enough to take down Boarboats, and for whatever it means there, Thunder's not able to find anything. I was hoping he'd be at least able to surprise New Happy a little bit there, maybe get a knock. Maybe he was the one, but regardless, not to be today for Purple Mood. SDK on the move, sees the hillside open from their position on the west, and now it's time to move east. And a little bit of space here. A wider hill can be a bit tough to control, as Shaq as well. And we'll see if they can lock this down.
If you can even call it that, and Kurt had to stop, and this is, oh man, this is old school meta car fort style. I know we got some boomers on SDK, but this might be too old of a strategy. Ascend is going to be sending a lot of those shots through. Gets a bit of damage, not quite the knock just yet, but already the fact that the smokes are being deployed this early on, and that's the knock onto Vegas. This is looking like a really rough situation for SDK. However, you can't blame them. Where do you expect them to go? Look at the zone. There really isn't much stuff to play for.
Yeah, you're right. It is a tough circle. There's some hills to the east, to the west, but they're wider hills. There's not a lot of curvature in them. It is very long in circumference. So Na'Vi here trying to cut through the center of LG and New Happy, and certainly would not want to be them in this position, but 8 kills already in this game, so not a bad one at all. LG, they're going to confirm onto Alia. 3 members left for Na'Vi, Ubi, Mel, and Uba.
I'll take
Mel,
it.
Ubi, that's like... It's like a little Uba, and then now he's Ubi,
little child.
Uba,
Oh, no, okay. Yeah, New Happy
that's pretty
episode on
good.
this. This is a good grenades from a lot of different angles.
How is Na'Vi still alive?
I don't know. Uba with 5 kills. Non does get taken out. Kickstart. LG are going to be looking towards that direction. The easier shots that way instead of having to aggressively peek over onto Na'Vi.
Well, LG's kind of just content to sit back a little bit in these compounds. Couldn't quite find the space to push out. Maybe New Happy able to put some pressure, and that's just more kills here for Na'Vi. Already 27 guaranteed points, 21 kills total as they continue their reign of destruction here at PGS1, and we're only 2 games in. Should surprise absolutely no one. This team, well, maybe they didn't do as well as they want in their region. Speaking of teams going down, it's EXO there as Ghibli finally, you know, I talked about this a while ago, and it finally comes to a bit of fruition. Cerberus getting involved there, so some points for those two teams up on Sharkfin.
Who's third party in that? I think that's 4AM all the way on the east side. Again, just the lack of terrain is punishing so many different teams. It's only phase 5, and it feels like teams are making wild sends that you expect from like phase 6, 7.
Yeah, one knock now, maybe a second coming indeed. Gumin able to get the spray to find the mark, but Heaven the only one left now for Ghibli versus Tycon, the superstar of Cerberus. Oh, Hemas is still alive too. I'm sorry, I misread that on the screen there. Hemas as well, still up. Some pressure being put down, damage being done. The molly connected there, and Cerberus is going to have, actually it's 4AM Summer who gets that knock in the long run. Heaven trying to wrap around, trying to find that final member, guaranteeing the points, but Hemas able to avoid detection.
Heaven, the player that usually plays from range for Ghibli, the last one up, has to make a move in. The close quarter of combat. Hemas just trying to peek around the smoke. A pixel has been spotted. Heaven does land a couple shots from that spray, but not enough to get the final kill of this engagement here. Flash in hand, but look at 4AM moving in on the side.
They know that if they finish this fight, they have firm control over the northern side. Hemas takes a bunch of damage from that nade. Trying to now kind of do-si-do Heaven. He has a pretty good position. I don't think Heaven has any idea. Yep, and Heaven there, gonna go down. So Cerberus able to avoid elimination so far, but now 4AM is deciding to bite down on top of them.
Oh, more damage, not the knock, but I mean, it's a lot of members swinging on over. 4AM know where the last member of Cerberus is. Spraying in the smoke, Bullet is going to find its mark eventually. LG have also been eliminated, and now SONIQS versus New Happy. Non-spray down to Tickleton, gonna confirm that kill. Zipiani swinging in from the side, trying to get another angle as well. They are dismantling SONIQS piece by piece.
That is some nasty shooting there from New Happy. Mime looking to be rezzed by Shrimzy. Looks like they should be good for it. You do have Navi waiting in the wings of this fight. Ascend, though, doing some serious damage to SDK in that aggressive center position, starting to crumble a bit. I did see an Om floating there for Vegas. Kilyakai has been knocked for Ascend as Navi's Mel falling on the backside as well. Micah driving up, try to see if he can help his teammate out from the backside, though. Uba is going to clean up that knock. Meanwhile, New Happy SONIQS just Non left here now as SONIQS have stabilized.
Stabilize a bit. Molly comes out, pushes Non away. He does get a couple of bandages off beforehand. Now Flash is going to come out. SONIQS, they want to move away from this, or at least find a couple of different angles, because it is a small little tree, but what another shot! Mime gets knocked again. Non is not giving this up to SONIQS easily.
Meanwhile, 4AM is just barreling down towards all these fights. Shrimzy finally able to deal the death blow to New Happy. Ascend still dealing with a couple different teams, and here comes 4AM. They are finding the perfect late game timings to strike, and teams are beginning to crumble under their purview.
Down to two, 4AM versus SONIQS. Are we 4AM looking for a repeat of that? 2 wins in a row potentially for them, and all that stands between them and that second chicken dinner is 3 members of SONIQS, and they know where they are. 4AM once again have the space, have the control. H-Twin gonna try and let some shots rip, but takes a lot more in return. 8 kills for 4AM.
Partner team versus partner team, and some great shooting from Shrimzy there is going to put Crazy down immediately. Now Xiaolu trying to flank to the south side. 3 members on the other end, and Summer taking a bunch of damage. The IGL for 4AM has been beat up. Xiaolu able to get here, get some much needed level 3 gear to make this fight more so in their favor. Shrimzy able to just barely get behind this tree. Repeaks, it actually does some damage. Xiaolu here out in the open.
That's huge. The fact that he gave his position up without being like, without getting a knock for it, but Summer is able to follow up on. So the war of attrition is slowly going in the favor of 4AM. Mime and H-Twin, I don't think they're going to try and get Shrimzy up. He's in a very dangerous position. Instead, H-Twin going to be pushing around that west side, looking for another alternative angle. The 4AM are clearly, firmly pitted just below that initial ridge. It's going to have to be a hard push to try and find that line of sight.
I like what SONIQS are doing here. This is the best option in a bad situation here. Try to overstack an angle, see if they can catch 4AM sleeping. Damage done from Win, but it's not enough to get the knock, and he is knocked in return. Mime, the only one left in this. He gets one. Can he find any more? No. 4AM back-to-back wins to start PGS1.
I mean, what can you say to that? It's a dominant show, it's a dominant performance here. And that was not an easy game. And the fact that they were able to make it to the end with 4 up, huge performance. Great control of the northeast side, but more